Alright, we got a great one for you today. Great how-to video. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own bucktails. That's right, gonna make some bucktails. So what you're gonna need for this, of course, if you don't already have it, you're gonna need some lead and a mold to make your jig head. But if you already have the jig head, you don't need the lead or the mold. You'll need the hairs. So I've got a whole bunch of different hairs here. You don't need the hooks if you already have, again, the lead head or the jig head. You're gonna need this fly tying tool. You're gonna need the thread. And again, I'm such an amateur at this, I don't even remember what the name of that is. And then this tool. You're gonna need some bucktail. And if you are gonna color your jig heads, need some paint and some powder coat to finish it off. So, full disclosure, I just started doing these, just started making bucktails because they were catching me bass. So I am as amateur as it gets, but if I can make these and get them to fish right and get them to catch fish, so can you. They don't have to, as I say with even the plastics, they don't have to be perfect. They just need to look good enough to get bit, look good enough as food for a fish. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and heat up this lead, make my jig heads, and then we'll get started in the other process. But if you already have your jig heads made, go ahead and skip to this when I'm pointing at this section or this time of the video to fast forward to the coloring of the jig heads. Alright, I just plugged the lead in, so it hasn't quite gotten hot enough to where bad lead fumes are coming out yet. And again, if you are going to heat up the lead, make sure you have plenty of ventilation, fan blowing, garage open, whatever, so you're not breathing the fumes. I'm actually, while pouring, going to be wearing my respirator so I don't breathe that stuff in. But until then, I'm going to go over a few things real quick in terms of the hooks I use and the mold. So this is the Do It mold that I get from Barlow's Tackle. This is a ultra minnow jig, medium sizes. This is the 4, so it has 4 different cavities. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got the 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce, and 1.5 ounces. And these again are the ultra minnow jig from Do It mold. Now I don't use heavy ones when I'm surf fishing. The biggest I'm going to use is probably 1 ounce or 3/4 ounce depending on the rod. And so if I'm going to be using 3/4 ounce or 1 ounce, I'm going to be using these Mustad style 91715 hooks, stock number 428504. These are going to be in size 4.0. If I'm going to be doing a 1/2 ounce, I'm going to be using that same hook, but stock number 503 instead of 504. This is the 3/0 or 3.0 pack of 50. And if I'm going to do a 1/4 ounce or 1/8 ounce, so if I'm really wanting to do something smaller, even the 1/2 ounce for fishing those perch or anything, I'm going to use the, again, same hook, stock number 501, and these are size 1.0 in a pack of 50. And again, these will just sit here. Let's just open one up and just show, for the sake of this video and making these bucktails, I'm going to be making a yellow one, a yellow 3/4 ounce. So I'm going to use that 4.0 hook, and it's going to go right into this 3/4 ounce slot right here. So it's going to fit right in there. Going to have to close it because the length of the hook makes it kind of fall out. But right about right there, make sure it's hanging flat, which it is not. Kind of just hold it into place right there. There, close it. And I just kind of pull down a little bit, make sure it's not moving. And so that'll be ready for when this lead is ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and again pour two. I'm probably gonna pour 2 or 3/4 ounce on this 4.0 size Mustad jig head hook. Okay, so again, once this is heated up, I'll come back and we'll pour these, and we'll get going on this. Alright, these turned out great. Hard to mess them up with those do-it molds. Practically perfect right out of the mold. All I had to do is do a little bit of filing there to get some of that cut off gone. Okay, so those are all good. Now the next step, you can either use powder coats and use the heat gun and powder coats to get colors on them, but I prefer to, at least for this one, I'm going to use spray paint because I want to do a white base with a yellow top. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to first spray these with white, and then I will top them with yellow, come back and, yeah, here we go. Alright, so here's my two painted jig heads. Again, white base or white bottom with a yellow top. White on yellow. I'm not a huge proponent of like those stick-on fish eyes. I personally don't think they do any. I don't think there's a huge advantage to them like these stick-on guys, right? So all I do think you need eyes, but I just take a Sharpie and fill in the eye holes. Simple, nothing fancy. Do that for these. I do this for the jerk baits. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's necessary to spend money on the eyes. If you want to, go for it. I just don't. So I'll let those go ahead and dry for about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and put the powder coat finish on these, so that way that paint doesn't come off if I hit rocks, or over time after fish bite, it won't come off. So again, I'll let this dry for a few minutes, come back, and we'll do the finished powder coat on these. All right, we'll go ahead and put the clear coat on this now. All right, so this is the ProTech powder paint. This is the clear coat with UV blast that I get from Barlow's. This is the component system, CS systems. And what you want to do before you even use it is you want to get this all stirred up, get this all loose in here so it's not all compacted. Break it up a bit. Okay. And then the biggest thing to note on this, like you could use this CS coating, seal coat, jig finish, or with a UV blast, or just a standard, but I like using the powder coat on jig heads, and I'll use these on like jerk baits and hard body plastic baits. But seeing as this is spray paint and not a powder coat, you have to be very careful when you're putting the powder coat on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this heat gun, and I'm going to warm it up. I'm not going to get it super hot because otherwise the paint will melt off. But I'm going to get it warmed up, then I'm going to dip it in, bounce as much of the clear coat off as possible, and then I'm going to heat it up again and dip it again to basically get a second coat on there. But you're not heating it up to melt it, you're heating it up just to get the powder to stick, and then heating it up to have it cure on and harden on. So again, I'll go ahead and warm this up, and you'll see how I go ahead and do that process. So again, I'm not staying in one spot for very long. I'm just getting this warmed up. Okay, that's good enough. Now I'll go ahead and dip this all the way in there. You don't need to go all the way up to here because that's where all the feather and the tail, all this feather stuff's gonna go. So you don't need to get all the way up there, but you do want to make sure that you get this whole body. And you see it's kind of cloudy, and now what I'll do is just take that heat gun and I'm going to slowly go around this whole jig head. And look in the eye, you can see that powder in the eye area. You'll see that go clear. Starting to go clear. Again, you don't want to stay in one spot for very long. Okay, now you see that spot in the eye? Started to go clear, good there. I'm gonna let that sit for just a little bit, let that cool down. I'm gonna dunk again a second time, and that'll be it. And then I'll again use the heat gun to harden that or cure that onto the jig head. Let me feel that. All right, that's pretty good. Go ahead and dunk this again real fast. Okay, you can see it's stuck to the eyes, white over the eyes now. Pretty much cloudy over the whole thing. Go ahead and do the same thing. Again, don't stay in the same spot for very long. Keep rotating. Even heat across the whole thing. Again, this is only for when you're putting this powder coat on top of paint. See that eye? Now the eye went black after that powder coat clears. The clear coat heats up. Boom. Okay, that's it for that one. Go ahead and hang this out. Let that harden. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. And I'll fast forward through this, but the same thing with this one. Okay, now that the first one, you'll do the same thing on both of them, but this one's dry enough now to where I can hold it. Now, in order for this, or the powder coat to completely cure, what you're going to want to do is, if you have like a worktop oven or even household oven, doesn't matter, but preheat an oven to about 325 degrees, and maybe even a little higher, and put these in it for about 15 to 20 minutes. After they've cooled down for probably 10 to 15 minutes and this clear coat's got hard, put it into an oven, 325 for about 15-20 minutes, and that'll completely cure it. And then once it cools down, then we'll start putting the bucktail and the colors and everything onto this and finish up this process. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the oven, and I'll be back. Alright, here we go. There they are, all done. Ready to add the hair. Twins. Alright, so we'll go with this one first. Actually, I'll just do it on this one for the sake of this video. We'll just do one. But again, just to fully disclose, I am in no way, shape, or form a professional at this. I just started doing them because they started catching fish. So bear with me. There's going to probably be some mistakes. I'm probably going to screw up at some point. But that's what happens. So we'll learn together, figure it out. Here we go. So what you'll need, again, is that fly tying tool or just a vise. The hairs. So I got a bucktail here. My uncle tied flies a lot, and so I got all his leftover stuff. So this is actual bucktail. So I didn't need to get that. But this is a yellow or a neon greenish yellow. This is my shine, or my whatever you want to call it, glow thread. We got my basic, I'm just going to use a sewing thread here. Got small scissors, small sharp scissors. Got some tack glue. This is going to be so when before I even finish it, I'm going to put some of this on throughout the whole process to kind of get the hairs and everything to be semi-permanently stuck already before we finish it off with this 5-minute set epoxy. And yeah, should be good to go. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think we're good. Okay, so first I'm going to take this fly tying tool here, and I'm just going to put it into my vise. I know you should be using a stand, or you can use a stand with them, but I don't. Let's see if I can get this to be down low enough for the video here. That should be good. This is a bit lower than I usually have it, but it'll do. Alright, then take this and hook it in. So you open this fly all the way, so down or up here this way, Down is going to lock it. You can see that opening close a bit. So I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to put this hook in here. Right? And I'm just going to lock that down for now. Actually, I'm going to make this a little more horizontal here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take this thread. Doesn't have to be real long, but by default it is right now. I'm just going to set it right there and just kind of wrap it a few times, wrap it over itself, get it to just stick, stay put. Then you have this tag in here. Don't need to waste it, so I'll just kind of wrap it around a couple times just to keep it in there. Okay, let that hang. You see this little thread here tag in. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off. I don't really need it. Okay, now I'm going to wrap it a few more times. Okay, that's probably good there. And like I said, with this tack glue, I just use it to kind of just put a little bit on there. Not even a drop, just enough to hold it on. Wipe the tip off that. Cool. All right, so that's set for now. So I'm actually gonna have the yellow on the top. The ones that were getting bit were I had one that was on top and bottom. So I'm actually gonna put the yellow on the top. So I'll go ahead and put this on first. Usually I'd flip this over and put the white on first, but I'm just gonna see how this goes with the yellow. See, this is from Barlow's again. You can order this on their website, but you don't need much, okay? So this one, you can do sections at a time too. You don't have to do it all at once. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little bit here, probably about that much right there to start. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off. And then make sure that you kind of strip any loose pieces off. So you wanna get all the loose pieces out of here. Okay, grip this tight, cut that little bit off so it's straight. Again, that's why you need sharp scissors. Okay, and now put it on the top here, right there, and wrap it a few times, or a couple, whatever. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now you can kind of move it around a little bit just to get it centered or wherever you want this hair to be. So I'm actually going to have a little bit more on it than what I have right now. So I'm going to pull this a little bit down. Okay, actually it kind of slipped a bit, so I'm actually going to undo this first batch. Get that a little more to the side. I think that's about more of where I want it. Okay. So get that wrapped around. Okay, like I said, first I'm going to wrap this a little bit toward me a little bit. Give it a few more wraps there. Okay. Now I'm just going to do the same thing. Get a little more yellow. So I'm going to do 2 patches of yellow, but it's all going to be on the top. Cut that off. Okay, and again, strip out any loose pieces. This stuff's fairly inexpensive, so you don't have to worry about losing a couple strands here or a couple strands there. Very cost effective. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, put this back over here, make sure my lens is clean. Alright. Okay, so again, this is going to kind of wrap over on the opposite end this time. So go ahead and wrap it like that. Give it 4 or 5 wraps. Pull that back a little bit. You can see that the hair is right there. Okay, tighten that down. Okay, now this, again, with this tack glue, this isn't part of the normal process. You don't have to do this, but I do it because it gives me some reassurance that this hair is not gonna slide out. It kind of secures it before I finish it with the epoxy. Okay, that's squared away. Cool. Now I'm gonna open this a little bit and rotate it. Okay, so that's straight down. Okay, now I'm gonna get now for the bucktail side, the actual white. Okay. By the way, real bucktail stinks so bad. Of course, this is also probably like 30 years old, so what do you expect? Okay, same thing, you don't need a lot. Start with a little, I guess I'll start over here. Start with go little patches at a time. So I'll go ahead and snip that. Yeah, almost blew that. Okay, stay there, buddy. Alright, so again, strip this of all the loose stuff, small stuff. Get back in camera here. Okay, that's pretty straight. I'll probably do 2 patches of this. So this is gonna go on that side of the jig head, because I'll do another one on this side. Actually, I'm gonna have to cut a little bit off. It's not straight. See how these are all uneven here? I messed up on that. So go ahead and pull these out, and then get these cut straight. Right. That's better. See how straight that is? Want to make sure it's straight. Lay that down. Okay. I'll go ahead and wrap this. I do it probably 5 or 6 times just to get it tight. Get a little bit tighter here. Okay, and then you can spread it out a little bit. Let's take a look on that side. That looks pretty good there. Okay, give that a couple more wraps. Okay, now we'll get another new batch of hair. Again, doesn't need to be a big batch. Go with that right there. Okay. Again, pull, squeeze tight. I squeeze tight with my right hand and pull all the loose stuff off with the left hand. Then go ahead and cut this straight. Okay. Now I'll turn this jig a little bit away from me. A little bit more. There we go. Go ahead and wrap this guy on. Okay. I can see that I'm might need to add a little more right here, maybe a little more right there. So I'll cut a little patch right here. Okay, that's good enough. It should be fine. Rotate this over. Actually, it doesn't want to rotate right now. Okay. There we go. We open that a little bit. Re-squeeze that. So I need some more right there. A little more white right there. And then we're done with the actual bucktail. Okay. Cut this straight. And again, this is in no way, shape, or form perfect. I've already used way too much line or a thread, but it'll get bit. That's all that matters. It's 100% all that matters. Okay, so the majority of that is done. Okay, yellow's in, the white's in. Now I'm going to add a little bit of shine with this stuff right here. Drop that, my bad. Okay, so with this stuff, I put this on the sides, so like one there and there, but you only need like 3 or 4 strands per. Let me just get this straightened out. This looks terrible. All right, let's get like 3 or 4. So right there, 3 or 4 strands. Okay, maybe don't even need that many. There we go. That many strands. Get that straight. Then you're just gonna cut this just like you did the other hairs. And see how it's like a glow in there, like a UV kind of blast. And you're just gonna put these right on the side. Adds a little, it's called flash, sorry, that's what it is. It's not glow, it's flash. It adds a little flash to this thing. So you can see it right there. Collects the light, adds some flash. So now I'll go ahead, rotate this, and put some on this side. So same thing, grab like 4 strands. I guess I should try to make it right in the middle. Okay, like 4 right there. All right, 4 strands. Okay, put that right on the side and wrap that. Okay, perfect. So again, I'm gonna just take this tack glue. You don't need to, but I do it. And I'm just gonna put a very, very, very thin layer there. And now, that's it for the colors. So now, you just go ahead and take the thread and wrap it as many times as you feel comfortable. Get it tight on there. Wrap it good. Get it tight. Make sure not to have a ton of tension on here. Like I spread these bars open a little bit, stretch them out. I find if it's too tight, this thread could break. So I want it loose enough to where as I'm rolling, I can slightly pull and pull more thread out. And now that that's done, take a look around, make sure that it's all wrapped around clean. All right, we're good there. Now it's time to finish it. This tool, you either do by hand, I think this is a Whipple, I don't remember. But this tool is what helps you finish. It's a pain in the butt for me to figure out the first few times, but hopefully I figured it out. So take it there, wrap it around there. Kind of let it go. And you want to get that head wrapped around there. I am in no way, shape, or form professional at this, and I feel so uncomfortable right now even doing it. It's not even funny, but if it works, that's all that matters to me at this moment. I'm going to do this 3 or 4 times. I suggest to learn how to use this tool, go onto YouTube. Do not try to figure it out on this video. There are guys that are 100 times better at this than me, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, so now let it come off this end. And pull that tight. Boom. That should do it. All right. Now again, I'm going to take this tack glue and just put a dab of it right on that knot, that little knot. And that's it. So that's it for the tack glue. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Boom, that's done. Okay, done with that, done with all that. Take a look at it real quick. There it is. Bucktail. Chartreuse yellow, white bucktail. Now again, you could use white thread. That's the best part about making these bucktails, is you can use whatever colors you want. You can customize this however you want. I actually, after fishing with these, I personally feel that they fish like a tube jig, right? And also, the other thing you want to know is, now that you've done this, if you want to trim it up a little bit, make it look a little more real, not so fine cut, you can go in here and you can cut, you can cut these down a little bit, so it's not so perfect. You can add some more, before you finish it, you could add some more color to it. But again, the more natural presentation, the better. I would actually prefer, now that I've been doing a couple of them, I would prefer actually to have yellow bucktail. I really think that would be an awesome thing to have. I'll look around, see if I can get some of that, see if I can find some. But there's the bucktail. It's all finished. Now, to completely finish it with the glue, so what you want to do now is, you can use, some people use UV blast resin. I'm just going to use this 5-minute epoxy. So set all that aside. Get yourself a piece of cardboard, whatever you want to use. Go ahead and pop this out. You're going to do equal parts of both sides. So this is a 2-part epoxy, 1-to-1 mixture. So get that evenly shot out. Okay. Wipe the top. Put this top back in. Okay. Take whatever you want to use to mix, and mix this for, I mix it for about 1.5 minutes. Alright, that should be good. Now all you gotta do is take this and just evenly coat all this through. Oh my gosh, I almost lost it. Evenly coat this thread. It's got a piece of yellow coming out here. Don't want that. Another piece over here. Okay, cool. I'll have to, okay. Again, you don't have to use the 5-minute epoxy. It's just, for me, it's a convenient thing, since I already use it for other stuff. I just have it here. And there, one thing to note, just to go back on the comment, how I said it was like having a tube jig. This isn't neither the tube jig or this are like swim baits, where a swim bait has a tail that flutters, right? These are just, you drop it and you're kind of moving it along wherever it's at, whether the bottom, center of water column, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You create the movement up and down. But with a tube jig, it's kind of, how you say, it's kind of just stuck, right? It's hard plastic or rubber, and you just, again, up and down, kind of move it, and it darts a little bit. But with this bucktail and these feathers, not feathers, sorry. I guess you can use feathers. But with this bucktail and hair, it moves with the current, it moves with the jig. And so it looks more, to me, it looks more realistic than those tube jigs. But again, it's the same philosophy in that it doesn't have a tail that's going to move and flutter around in the water. You have to kind of create the movement and create the action, noise, sound, whatever you want to call it. Yikes, I'm almost losing it. Alright, well, that does it. That, in a nutshell, that took about, for the bucktail part, that took about 24 minutes. But that was me talking and, walking through it. So, yeah, that's the gist of it. That's making a bucktail from an amateur's perspective. And the fact that I didn't mess up and actually got this on the first try is what I'm most proud of. This tool was not fun to use. There's a lot of YouTube videos that show you how to use this, but a lot of them are very, not unclear, but you don't get it right away. There's some that just explain it, every single detail, and there's some that you have to follow along on your own. I'll look for the one that I found and see if I can add that into the description or note who it was by, just so you can see. But again, very lucky that I got this on the first shot. I'm proud of myself. Pat myself on the back for that one. Thank you. But yeah, there it is. I'm gonna go ahead, you just let that dry. Again, 5-minute epoxy. That'll be hard enough to where I can hang it and not have it run or drip in about 2 minutes. And then this thing's ready to go in about 12 to 15 hours. But yeah, that's how I make the bucktail from scratch, start to finish. Hope you learned something. If you didn't, my bad. But go get some. Okay, I almost forgot one thing, not hugely important, but wanted to make sure I add this in here. If you don't want to or can't afford, or for whatever reason don't want to spend the money to get all the different colors, I definitely recommend the white. That's your base color. But let's say, for example, you wanted to have yellow or red or pink. It doesn't last forever, but it does work. You can just spray paint the hairs, the white hair. Spray paint the white hair, then use a extra fine comb or something and just brush it to where the hairs separate out of the paint, and you got yourself different color bucktail hairs. You don't have to use these. You can use paint. So like if you wanted a yellow tip, you can just take this white and spray a yellow tip on it. And then if you wanted to have some red up here, just quickly do a quick red. So it doesn't have to be hair. You can use spray paint. You just got to make sure you use a fine tooth brush or a fine tooth comb and comb it out, so that way the hairs aren't stuck to each other by the paint. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Stay on. Stay on. Oh. Pew. There it is. There it is. A handmade bucktail. Pew. Nice. See? Works. Look at that. Not a big guy by any means, but they work. Handmade 3/4 ounce bucktail, yellow and white. All right, let's get this little dude back in the water. All right. Okay. Small little dude, but jumped on it. There it is. Handmade, homemade bucktail.